Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Let's talk about something that I know hits home for so many of you watching. Have you ever felt like this? You go to bed early, feeling good, thinking tonight's the night I'm finally going to get some solid sleep. And then sometime in the middle of the night, right around 3 or 4 in the morning, it's like an alarm goes off inside your body. Boom, you're wide awake. Your brain is suddenly sharp as a tack. Zero drowsiness. You try to go back to sleep, but you toss and turn and toss and turn. You count sheep up to a few thousand, but honestly, that just makes you more awake. You watch the sky outside your window slowly start to get lighter, and you feel this knot of frustration and anxiety in your chest, but you just can't fall back asleep. Then morning comes, you get up with a foggy head, your whole body feels heavy and weak, and your blood pressure is running high. A lot of folks think, I guess this is just what happens when you get older. Older people just sleep less. Other people wonder, should I be taking sleeping pills or maybe I need more melatonin? Well, today I want to tell you something very important. Please don't rush to take medication that early morning waking. It may not be because you're aging at all, and it may not be because your body is missing melatonin. It could actually be because your dinner plate is missing one of the most humble, overlooked, yet absolutely critical nutrients there is. Recently, there's been a really significant discovery in the medical world, and here's what it shows by simply adding a specific type of nutrient to your dinner in the right way. You may be able to break that 3 or 4 a.m. curse and sleep straight through until morning. This isn't some expensive supplement, it's not some weird exotic herb. It's right there in your local grocery store. It's in the foods we eat every single day. But so many people, especially folks over 50, are walking around with a chronic hidden deficiency without even realizing it. In today's video, I'm going to explain this seriously underrated sleep superhero from top to bottom. I'm not just going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you exactly how to get more of it, what your dinner plate should actually look like, and which specific dishes can bring back the good sleep you've been missing. Follow along, and I promise this will help. Let's start with the big reveal. What is this mysterious food that can rescue your sleep? It's a mineral called potassium. I know a lot of you just thought, wait, potassium, isn't that the thing for your heart? What does that have to do with my sleep? And that, my friends, is exactly the big misunderstanding that so many people have had for years. A very solid, high quality study was just published in a well-respected journal called Frontiers in Nutrition, and this study had some real weight to it. They looked at nearly 4,568 participants. That's a huge sample size, which means the results are pretty trustworthy. They dug deep into these people's eating habits, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything, and what they found was striking. The people who ate more potassium at dinner had much lower rates of sleep problems. And on the other side, the people with the worst insomnia, the ones who kept waking up in the middle of the night, were almost always seriously low on potassium. For a long time, everyone thought that poor sleep was mainly about low melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. But this new research shows that low potassium is also a major driver of insomnia. Here's why: potassium helps your body flush out excess salt, relaxes your blood vessels, keeps your blood pressure stable, and calms down overexcited muscles. When your body is low on potassium, your internal environment gets out of balance. That makes it really, really hard to fall into deep sleep and stay there. And that's exactly why you wake up in the middle of the night. So why is potassium so important for sleep? There are three deeper reasons. Let me walk you through them carefully. Reason one, potassium is a blood vessel relaxer that helps you reach deep sleep. Here's something we all know. If your blood pressure is high and your heart is racing while you're trying to sleep, you're not going to sleep soundly. The problem is most of us eat way too much salt. Too much sodium makes your blood vessels tight and your blood pressure high. Potassium is sodium's natural enemy. Eating more potassium helps your body flush out that extra sodium. When sodium levels go down, your blood vessel walls relax and your blood pressure stabilizes. Once your body can finally relax, it's much easier to slide from light sleep into deep restorative sleep, and that means you're less likely to wake up at the smallest little thing at 3 or 4 in the morning. Reason two, potassium is a muscle calmer that prevents middle of the night cramps. So many older adults wake up because their leg cramps up or their toe cramps up. And most people's first thought is, I need more calcium, but honestly, a lot of the time it's low potassium. Potassium is a key electrolyte that controls how your muscles fire and how they relax. If you don't have enough potassium, your muscles stay in an overexcited state. They just kind of mess around. The right level of potassium helps settle those restless, cranky muscles so they behave themselves and rest quietly all night long. Reason three, potassium helps regulate your internal body clock. Potassium helps keep your body's internal environment stable by maintaining the right balance of electrolytes in your fluids, and that indirectly helps regulate your nighttime rhythms. In plain English, it makes the process of falling asleep smoother and makes your sleep more continuous, like a calm, steady river instead of a choppy stop and start little creek. So you see, getting enough potassium isn't just for your heart, it's a real, legit sleep supporter. And besides helping with sleep, eating more potassium-rich foods has another huge benefit, especially for people in midlife and beyond. And honestly, this one could be life-saving. I'm talking about lowering blood pressure and preventing strokes. A major article in a top journal called the European Heart Journal made this very clear. Getting more potassium helps protect your heart and blood vessels. According to the data, increasing your potassium intake can lower cardiovascular risk by about 7% in men and about 11% in women. And for women, the effect on lowering that top number, the systolic blood pressure, is especially strong. The biggest problem with most of our diets is what doctors call high sodium, low potassium. We eat way too much salt, way too much soy sauce, way too many pickled or processed foods. When too much sodium gets inside your cells, your blood vessels squeeze down and your blood pressure spikes. That's a huge reason why so many older adults have high blood pressure. Here's something really striking. The research found that in women who already eat a lot of salt, every additional gram of potassium per day was linked to a significant drop of 2.4 points in systolic blood pressure. Don't underestimate that 2.4. In medical terms, that's a real achievement. That's about the effect of half a blood pressure pill, and you get it without any medication side effects. So putting more potassium-rich foods on your dinner table does two great things at once. It helps fix the problem of waking up in the middle of the night, and it also lowers your blood pressure and your cardiovascular risk. However you do the math, that's a smart bargain. Now, I know some of you are asking, how do I know if I'm low on potassium? Should I go to the lab and get a blood test? Going to your doctor for a blood test is absolutely the most accurate way. But here's the thing, your body also sends you three very clear distress signals when it's running low on potassium. And unfortunately, most people ignore them. They just think, oh, I'm just tired, or I guess I'm getting older. So let me give you a checklist. Look at yourself. Do you have any of these? Low potassium signal number one, unexplained muscle weakness and fatigue. This is the earliest, most common sign. Think of potassium as your body's battery charge. When you're low on potassium, it's like your battery has a slow leak. You might notice that you used to walk up 3 flights of stairs without a problem, but now your legs feel weak and heavy by the second floor, or you haven't done anything particular exhausting, but you just feel generally drained. You don't want to move. You just want to lie down. That's because potassium is essential for the energy metabolism in your muscles. Without enough potassium, your muscles just don't have the fuel to work properly. If you often feel that kind of unexplained fatigue, don't just blame it on being run down. You might be low on potassium. Low potassium signal number two, frequent muscle cramping, especially at night. We touched on this earlier. When you wake up with a calf cramp or a toe cramp in the middle of the night, it could be from low calcium, from getting cold while you sleep, or from low potassium. Potassium, calcium, and magnesium work together like three brothers to keep your muscles happy. If you've already tried taking calcium and you've made sure to keep warm at night, but you're still waking up with cramps 3 or 4 nights a week, there's a really good chance you're low on potassium. Low potassium signal number three, heart palpitations, a fluttering feeling, or an irregular heartbeat. This signal is the most dangerous one. Your heart is the strongest, hardest working muscle in your entire body, and every single beat of your heart depends heavily on the right balance of potassium. If you often feel a skip in your chest, like your heart suddenly stops for a second and then gives a hard thump, or if your heart suddenly speeds up for a few beats and then slows down, or if you just feel that vague, uncomfortable sense of fluttering or pounding, that may be your heart sending a message. It's saying, hey, I'm running out of fuel here. I need potassium. Severe low potassium can actually trigger dangerous, life-threatening heart rhythm problems. So please do not ignore this one. All right, so now you know why low potassium is bad and why getting enough potassium is good. Now let's get to the most practical part. How do you actually eat to get more potassium? I know some of you are already thinking, well, I'll just go to the pharmacy and buy some potassium pills. Stop right there. Please do not buy potassium supplements on your own for the vast majority of people. Getting potassium from food is the safest, most effective, and honestly the most delicious way to go. Let's talk about how to adjust your eating pattern. Even if you can't remember every single vegetable name I'm about to say, just remember these three big principles. Principle one, say goodbye to plain, refined grains at dinner. Don't just eat white rice and white bread. They are very low in potassium. Principle two, be colorful with your vegetables. In general, the darker the color, the higher the potassium. Think dark green spinach, bright orange carrots, deep purple cabbage. And on top of that, different colored vegetables come with different antioxidants. So their benefits actually add up. Principle three, eat more beans and more fish compared to red meat like beef, pork, and lamb. Beans and fish are potassium powerhouses. And on top of that, they come with healthy unsaturated fats that are good for your heart. To make this easy for you to remember, I've gone through the nutrition data and put together a list of the top 9 high potassium foods. I suggest you don't try to memorize all 9, just pick 2 or 3 and try to get them on your dinner table tonight. Number 1, dry beans like dry soybeans and dry kidney beans. These are the undisputed potassium kings, but you can't just eat dry beans for dinner. You won't digest them properly. Here's how to eat them. Soak the beans ahead of time. Then mix them right into your rice to make a mixed bean and rice dish, or toss a handful of dry beans into a slow cooker with some pork ribs or beef stew. They get soft and tender and soak up all that flavor, and the broth is full of potassium too. Number 2, buckwheat. Among all the grains, buckwheat has some of the highest potassium levels. How to eat it: cook some buckwheat noodles for a warm dinner, or mix some buckwheat flour into your dough. When you make steamed buns or bread, not only does it add potassium, but it also helps with blood sugar control. 2 benefits in one. Number 3, pumpkin seeds and pistachios. These are the absolute best potassium-rich snacks. Here's how to eat them after dinner. While you're watching TV, don't reach for salted peanuts or potato chips. Grab a small handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds or pistachios, and remember they have to be unsalted. If you eat the salted kind, you're just adding back more sodium. Number 4, dark leafy greens, especially beet greens and spinach. Beet greens are incredibly high in potassium, but I know a lot of people don't eat them regularly. If you can't find beet greens, spinach is a great choice. Just be careful. Spinach has a lot of oxalates. Before you eat it, you have to blanch it in boiling water for about 1 minute. That gets rid of most of the oxalates while keeping the potassium. Then you can toss it in a salad or do a quick stir fry with garlic. Number 5, avocado. This fruit is common in grocery stores. Now, half an avocado actually has more potassium than a whole banana. How to eat it: a lot of older folks think avocado is kind of bland. Here's what I suggest: mash it up with a fork and spread it on a piece of whole grain toast, or cut it into small cubes and toss it into a salad. The texture is creamy and smooth, almost like butter. Number 6, edamame. Edamame is just soybeans when they're still young and green. The potassium content is really good. How to eat it: boil a small pot of edamame with a little bit of salt, not too much salt. Serve it as an appetizer or a side dish. It's fresh, tasty, and packs a potassium punch. Number 7, quinoa. This is a globally recognized superfood. How to eat it: cook it into a warm porridge, or toss a handful into your rice cooker when you make rice. Once it's cooked, quinoa has that little curly tail and a fun, crunchy, soft texture. It's really good. Number 8, potatoes and sweet potatoes. Don't think of these as just a side vegetable. Think of them as your main carb source for dinner. Instead of eating a bowl of white rice, steam one medium potato or one sweet potato. Most of the potassium in a potato is right near the skin, so wash the potato really well. Steam it with the skin on and eat the skin too for the best effect. Number 9, banana. Banana doesn't have quite as much potassium as the other foods on this list, but it wins on convenience. How to eat it? Anytime you're hungry, grab a banana. But if you have diabetes, be careful with your portion size. Half a banana is plenty. Now, even though potassium is a good thing, I have to give you a very serious warning. For people with healthy kidneys, getting more potassium from food is safe and beneficial, but if you fall into one of the following 3 groups, you need to be careful. In fact, you may need to limit your potassium intake, otherwise you could be putting your life at risk. Group 1, people with moderate to advanced chronic kidney disease. This is the most important group to pay attention to. Your kidneys are like the valve that lets potassium out of your body. If your kidneys aren't working well, that valve gets clogged. The potassium you eat can't get out, so it builds up in your blood. That causes a condition called hyperkalemia or dangerously high potassium. And hyperkalemia is very serious. It can make your heart suddenly stop beating. So if you have kidney disease, how much potassium you eat and how you get it, that's a conversation you must have with your own primary care doctor. Group 2, people taking certain medications that raise potassium levels. Some people with high blood pressure or heart disease may be taking a class of drugs called ACE inhibitors. Those are the ones that end in pril, like lisinopril or enalapril, or they may be taking ARBs. Those end in sartan, like losartan, or they may be taking potassium-sparing diuretics, like spironolactone. These medications work by keeping more potassium in your body. If you're taking one of those and then you suddenly start eating huge amounts of high potassium foods, your blood potassium levels can easily go too high. If this is you, I strongly recommend getting your blood potassium checked regularly at your doctor's office. Group 3, people with a history of serious heart arrhythmias or heart disease for you. Blood potassium levels that are too high or too low can both trigger dangerous rhythm problems. The safest approach is to keep your diet consistent. Don't suddenly binge on high potassium foods one day and then eat almost none the next. All right, I know this has been a long video, but I wanted to take the time to really explain this clearly because this is about both your sleep and your heart health. So let me wrap it all up and give you a systematic summary so you can remember the key points. Point 1, eat more potassium-rich foods at dinner. If you keep waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, don't automatically assume it's just aging or a lack of melatonin. Adding potassium to your dinner can help fix your sleep problems so you sleep more soundly, and at the same time, it protects your heart. 2 benefits, 1 simple change. Point 2, why does potassium improve sleep? It does 3 main jobs. First, it helps flush out excess sodium, relaxes your blood vessels, and makes it easier for your body to slide into deep sleep. Second, it calms overexcited muscles and prevents painful middle of the night leg and toe cramps. Third, it stabilizes your body's electrolyte balance and helps regulate your nighttime rhythms so your sleep is more continuous. Point 3, the extra benefit of potassium is that it's a real protector for your heart and blood vessels. Studies show that getting more potassium fights the damage from a high salt diet, helps lower blood pressure, and significantly reduces your risk of heart attack and stroke. Point 4. Watch for the warning signs that your body is low on potassium. There are 3 big ones: unexplained muscle weakness and fatigue, like climbing stairs feels harder, frequent cramping, especially at night in your legs or toes, and heart symptoms, palpitations, a fluttering feeling, or an irregular heartbeat. Point 5, here's how to get more potassium safely and scientifically. First, get your potassium from food, not pills. Don't buy random supplements. Second, at dinner, swap out white rice and white bread for sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, or mixed beans and rice. Eat more dark green vegetables like spinach, more orange vegetables like carrots, more purple vegetables like purple cabbage, and add reasonable amounts of beans, fish, and unsalted nuts like pistachios. Third, and this is very important if you have moderate or advanced kidney disease, if you're taking potassium-sparing medications or certain blood pressure meds, or if you have a serious heart condition, talk to your doctor before you change your potassium intake. Do not go it alone. So here's my challenge to you. Starting tonight, let's take action together. Add 1 dish of blanched spinach to your dinner. Swap your bowl of white rice for a steamed sweet potato, or mix some edamame or beans into your meal. This is a low cost, low risk, tiny change to your routine, but what it can give you in return is a full, restful, uninterrupted night of sleep and healthier, younger, more flexible blood vessels. If you found this information useful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends and family who have been struggling with sleep. Let's help each other stay healthy. This is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes. And remember, if you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. I hope you sleep great tonight. I'll see you in the next video.